Local news that matters on Local 22 News.
At this place in history, we're in Plymouth Notch with Executive Director of the Vermont Historical Society, Steve Perkins. Steve, what brings us here?
So right behind us, Amanda, is the childhood home of President Calvin Coolidge. And there's this great event that happened right here, kind of unique in American history. So we're going to go inside and we're going to talk to Bill Jenny, who's the regional site administrator for the Calvin Coolidge State Historic Site, to learn more about the events of this place.
Bill, tell us about the room we're in. What was it used for and why is it so important?
This was the sitting room in the Coolidge Homestead. And so this is where the famous oath of office was administered, the so-called Homestead Inaugural, on August 3rd, 1923. And the story behind that is that Vice President Coolidge was up here for a few days that summer helping out on the family farm, visiting with his family. And in the middle of the night, word came that the president, Warren Harding, had died. And of course, we always have to have a chief of state, and so they had to swear him in immediately. They called Washington. The Attorney General gave the go-ahead that Calvin's father could administer the presidential oath in his capacity as a notary public. And a little-known fact is that when they returned to Washington shortly later, they had another ceremony with a federal judge because there was some debate as to whether Calvin's father, a state official, could administer a federal oath.
So you're telling us a little bit earlier, it was actually a little bit difficult to get a hold of Vice President Coolidge to let him know that he needed to take the oath to become president.
The only phone in town was in the general store across the road. And the storekeeper had gone to bed and they were trying to ring her up and she says she didn't hear it. So finally they gave up and they had to send word up to Bridgewater, which is about 6 miles up the road. And someone had to come down in a car to deliver the news that Warren Harding had died.
We saw a painting in the exhibit that showed the swearing in the middle of the night by lamplight. Can you tell us about that?
Well, of course, there were no photographers here at the time. Artists of some stature for the time, Arthur Keller, came here and reproduced the scene and used other images of the cast of characters.
In the painting, you had pointed out that Coolidge's hand was not on the Bible. Can you tell us about that?
Well, apparently it was not required by Vermont law to place your hand on the Bible when you were taking the oath. I understand that was the same case down in Massachusetts at the time.
And this is the Bible here?
This is the Bible here, the original lamp that lit the scene, the pen that was used to sign the documents. The house was preserved almost identically from what it was that night, largely because of the Coolidge's housekeeper. She was with the family for nearly 50 years, and her name was Aurora Pierce. When you walk through the homestead now, you can literally see the tables and the chairs and the pots and the pans, the same place they've been in for well over 90 years now. It's a real time capsule of that era.
And people can come visit this spot, right? How do they do that?
Definitely. It's part of our tour. We now have 14 buildings open to the public here at the State Historic Site. And this, of course, is one of the highlights of the tour, the Coolidge Homestead, his boyhood home. This is where he lived from the age of 4 up until the time he went away to college.
At this place in history,